Welcome back. Let's fight. Let's fight, good people. Let's fight. Let's fight. Good to have each and every one of you here with us tonight. We can't do it without you. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Grateful to have each and every one of you here with us this evening. How are you guys doing? Welcome in the ring wherever you lovely, beautiful folks are joining us from. Trust that you guys have had a fantastic day. Trust that you guys have had a great day. Welcome in the ring. Let us know where you're joining us from. Again, we are privileged to have each and every one of you. We see the usual suspects already lining up. Guys, we are so grateful that each and every one of you are here with us. Good to see you. All of the folks who we already know. We need to call some of the names. Winston Kilkenny, we're going to call a couple anyhow. Quantum Mingo and Paul Board is here. Guys, great to see each and every one of you. Trust that you guys are having an awesome time. Good to have you folks in the ring. Would rather be with no other bunch of folks than folks like Wanda Fraser. Good to have you. And Lola John, how about you? Paul Bowl is here, and I see Vanessa De Silva, and that's all the other folks. Let's fight, guys. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight to the hatred. Well, good to see you folks. Hope that you guys are good. Vaughn, how you doing? And Kay. Open the door, let the man come in. Halloween. One family. Here goes. How you guys doing? Matt McLean. Rodney Wilson. Mr. Fraser. Samuel Gambit. Good to see you, Samuel. Thank you, God. Good to have you guys here. Let's fight, my people. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Don't bother with the tadpoles and the cricketers tonight. Don't bother with the trench crappers either, guys. Good to have each and every one of you. We are so happy that you folks are here with us. We are happy that you guys are here with us. We'd rather be with nobody else. Bob Annie, good to see you. And Michelle McKay, good to see you. Carl Beverly, great to see you as well. Is it Nelisa? Shawnette, good to see you. Bob Annie. Shanetta, David Edwards. I can see that clearly. Will Felix Kimmel. How are you doing, family? Good to see you. Oren Todd Cook. Is it Michael? Michelle McKay, good to see you. And Cicely Weeks, good to see you as well. And I see Linda Sharks is here as well. And Mortimer Timothy Reynolds. Let's fight, USA. Barbados, let's fight. Good to see you, folks. Let's fight. Let's fight, welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Trust that you guys have been having an awesome time. We trust you guys have been having a fantastic time. You had a great weekend, guys. You're back and you're ready to fight. We had a long weekend, guys. I'm feeling much better. Thank you for your love and your support and your prayers. I felt them, folks. I felt them. We fought, and we're back. Jagabats, trench crappers, tadpoles, and cricketers. Good to have each and every one of you. Murder Monroe, good to see you. I see you. Rudolph is here. Rudolph Benjamin. I see Ganesh Mai Paul says Sue. Ganesh, rock and come in. Ganesh, you coming in the ring tonight or what? Come on, Ganesh. Come on. Andrea, good to see you. Angel, Adele Wade, Pace and Power. Good to see you as well. Atalia Wade Duncan. Good evening to you as well. Good to see you. Laverne Wade. Great to have you in the ring, Edward Wade. Pace and power to the Wades, folks. Pace and power to the in-laws. Shondell Dundas, good to see you. Penelope Hudson, good to see you. Shabodi, good to see you. And Facebook user Jamal, good to have you. Bevan Haynes and Leslie Alves, good to see you. Michelle Currica and Steffi Brown, great to see you. And Pansy Field, Unruly Moore, good to see you as well. And Maria Niles, folks. Sue. Ganesh was right. Ganesh was absolutely right. Esteline Sinclair, open the door, let the man come in. That's what Jack Deal said. Open the door, let Sue come in. All we is one family. Open the door, let Sue come in. All we is one family. Open the door, let Sue come in. All we is one family. Bato. Bato! Open the door! Let's fight, guys! Let's fight! Let's fight and get them. Open the door, let's keep them in. All of these one family. Open up the door, let's two come in and bring in investors still, don't let them outside. Money got to make, people. Money got to make. Money got to make, young boy. Large and in charge. Gone international. Unlike Mia, you know Mia Martley. It's on Times 100 most influential people. Yes, that you make it too. 100 most infamous people. Infamous. Yep. That's what we're talking about tonight, folks. We're going to have a couple guests stopping by. Eula, Rafferman Rubens. Good to see you. Odetta Abiola Daniels. Good to see you. Steffi Brown. Good to see you as well, guys. George Allen. Good to see you. Nicola Bess. How are you doing, Nicole? And Adele Semple. Denny's London Welshman. Melinda Mosley is here too. And Crisis Mingo Byrne. Good to see you. Shalon Joseph. Pace and power, folks. Boots on the ground. Yep. Good to have you, folks. Apologies there. Good to have you guys. The children want to comply tonight. They don't want to comply, but pace and power. Pace and power, guys. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground, folks. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Good to have each and every one of you in the ring, guys. Welcome. Good to have you. We outside, people. We outside. Really privileged to see each and every one of you. Guys, you know what you got to do when you come in. You got to share. Smash that emoji button, folks. And let's get right to it. Let's get right. We are ready. We're fired up, guys. And we are ready to go. If you guys are ready, we are ready as well, guys. And we cannot say it enough that we can't do these programs without you. We just can't. We just can't. Apologies. Yep. Pace and power, my good people. Pace and power. Fired up at this end, guys. And we are ready to go. We are ready to go. Yep. Good to have you, folks. Good to have you, beautiful people. Good to have you all here. Fired up, and we are ready to go. And we trust that you guys are as well. Where's the fight card, guys? We are fired up, and we are ready to go, guys. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking the things. Guyana for sale. Not so? Guyana for sale. We gone big, people. We gone international. International, folks. Showtime. Guyana's on the international stage. It is showtime, people. Guyana for sale. That was our documentary there. Starring the one and only Papa Jagabat. Starring the one and only Vice President Nadia. See if you saw that. Moles Rising was the other documentary, the second one, which focused on another country. But Guyana for Sale debuted last evening. And we're told that locally, I think it was HGPTV showed it as well. Locally, Showtime had it. And then HGPTV folks had it as well. Guyana for Sale. And wasn't that something, guys? Wasn't that something featuring Papa Jagabat, featuring Vice President Parrot Chaglio? Live and in living colors. We know it here, guys, at Sugate. That's what we know it as. But the Americans catching on quick. They call it Guyana for Sale. We listen, guys. What we call it? We call it Sugate. That's what them boys call it. Sugate. That's what we hear them boys call it. And we chime in too. Sugate. Oh, and what a scandalous mini documentary that was. What a scandalous mini documentary, guys. And we're going to be covering some of that at this end tonight. Before our guest comes, guys, before our guest join us this evening, we are going to walk you beautiful folks. We're going to walk you beautiful folks who are not so familiar yet with Wally Sugate. We're going to educate you all tonight. And then we're going to bring you guys to where we are. So just in case you've been hiding on the rock all this time, people, and you're now outside, we there. And boom, Sugate, Jagdeo, and his Chinese connection, larger than church, get for sale, folks. So this is what it's all about. Jagdeo, the center. And then the center got a middleman. Middleman name. It's Sue. Yep. Just in case y'all been on the rock, you know what happened? Y'all remember there was an interview? There was an interview, folks. Then came the denial. That he don't take bribes. And then there was a statement issued by the Chinese embassy in Guyana. And then Sue himself issued a press statement that he is not involved in any underhand dealings. You all remember all of that? Oh, and then there was that tweet by Isabel Young herself, the journalist that conducted that interview with Mr. Jagdeo. And now we're learning that posed as this Chinese investor's secretary. There was an infamous tweet by her that she was getting under the skin of certain Guyanese officials. And then the defender-in-chief came to the rescue. The defender-in-chief came to the rescue. We're coming up to where we are. Just in case you got some people out there, just in case you got some people who don't understand this story. Judge Anand, Valerie, Osmore, Deborah Gibson, just in case we got a couple of folks who don't understand it. Let me show you guys that interview. Let me give you a recap of that infamous interview. Because remember, this is how Sugate came on the scene. This is that infamous interview with Vice President installed Mr. Jagdeo and Isabel Young, that tremendous gifted reporter from Vice News. Take a peek.
What about within your government?
Yes.
Do you accept bribes?
No, I don't.
We've spoken to a number of Chinese business people in Guyana who said that you do accept bribes, and they have said that in fact it's the only way to get business done is to bribe you. One Chinese businessman we spoke to involving timber logging told us that basically as long as the vice president is okay with it, it's fine. He just needs to give one phone call to whoever's in charge, they'll get it done right away. The real big boss is the vice president, everything goes under the table, the whole country is like this.
Yeah, well, I can't comment on that because it would be an anonymous person. You can just sit there and fabricate that. As I said before, a lot of the companies and reporters. But you can if you name the person, that's fine. When the reporters come from abroad, this is their catch you kind of thing. You always want to make a developing country leader look corrupt. So you've done your bit. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people. I can say, two persons told me before this interview, don't do the interview with Vice News because that is precisely what they will do. They will fabricate something and come and say they spoke with people here.
Well, we're not fabricating
yes,
anything.
But let me tell you something. So all my statements are in with the Integrity Commission. The last government, they checked everything about me and they didn't find anything. They checked my bank accounts abroad. They checked everything. They didn't find anything. So there has to be the evidence of it. But you're not bringing evidence. You're saying an anonymous Chinese source.
Okay, well,
maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you. Or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
Su. Oh, Su. My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, he is able to arrange meetings and catch-ups with you at any point in the day. He claims
As a friend, yeah.
He claims that through his very close relationship with you, that he's able to get any deal done.
Well, I don't know
And
if
he's
that's.
able to change laws for investors.
But then which law has been changed for any
So
investor?
Sue told us that if you want to get anything done in Guyana, you need some hookups. I'm very close with the Vice President and the other officials. The Vice President and I share a very close relationship. Also, if we do the business, he'll help out no matter what. There's no one else who can help like he does. He also says when he's talking about
Yes, but help-
prospect investors that
Yeah.
the Vice President said he can change the Constitution, he said he can manage. Everything is going to be done soon. He's really treating us as brothers. He's already trying to help us as much as possible. Of course, I need to give back to him in return.
Yeah, but that is, I don't know about giving back, but I do that to everybody who comes to my office. The American companies come here to see me and they need a meeting. You asked to see me. I have an open door policy since I was president, so people come to see me. But I've had a long history of being in public office, and we never had any of this stuff that you talk. And all my accounts are clear. If you are coming here with specifics, so I just heard what you read, and that's totally accurate. I help out as many people as I can. That's totally accurate what you read there. Unbelievably accurate. It's accurate. So I help people out, but it doesn't mean for consideration. It does not mean for bribe, because I believe that we have a mission to help as many people as possible move forward in this country.
Well, Sue also told us that, I mean, the amount will divide between the Vice President. It's going to be a service or process.
Oh, really?
If we're going to do business together, my boss is not going to directly receive the money. But obviously, it's not going to directly transfer to him. The service charge is 4% of the total. It's not only me, most of it's the Vice President.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use middlemen like Sue in order to take money on your behalf so that you can keep your hands clean?
No. The answer is no.
Why do you think that Sue would say this?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
I mean, he's saying it because he, as he understands it, that's the truth.
Well, no, that's he understands it, so that's what you have to ask him. But the answer is no.
So why do you think he's saying this to us?
I don't know.
We now know that everything, save and except that he has an open door policy. He really has an open door policy. Everything that he said there was a total lie. We know that now definitively because lots of you watched the mini documentary last evening, and for purposes of copyright, we can't show all of it here. We can't even show a large portion. We're going to show a snippet later on. But remember, that was the interview that the Vice President published to get ahead, folks, of the storm that encircles him currently. That substantive mini documentary being published last night, and lots of you having had a chance to see that. But you all remember how the Commander-in-Chief came to his rescue, verbally almost assaulting senior journalist Svetlana Marshall, even intoning about Isabella Young, the young lady interviewing Mr. Jaguar at an international conference. Take a listen to the president on the international stage.
The question is, why are we here? Why Guyana? An international journalist, and we're having a lot of international journalists becoming experts in Guyana, and we welcome them. We're very welcoming to the media. You're part of our development story.
An expert Isabel Young is, because she understands one thing clearly: the PPP corrupt, Alibaba and the 40 thieves. So in that, she indeed is an expert. But the man, if Jaguar is the center, The man in the center of the center is Sue. Oh, Sue? He's a tenant. He's my tenant. He's a friend of ours. His father came here a long time ago. Sue has been elevated since then if you watch the documentary. Guyana for sale. Sue has been elevated. He has evolved from tenant to other things. But who is this Sue we've been talking about, folks? Who is Sue? We want to share a little bit about what we've uncovered about who is Sue, folks. Who is Sue? We know in 2013, he founded an energy gas company called China Zhangzhou. It claims to have started with an investment of $50 million. This is according to their page on social media, their website. That very company, China Zhangzhou, was granted license to export fuel by Sam Hines. What else we know about Sue? Because Sue name calling. Months ago, and it's still calling. The APNU AFC revoked that license in 2016. Sue also controls real estate in this country. Right? A real estate development company. It's called High Tech Construction Inc. And this company, we know, was one of those which was looking to develop East Bank lands for housing during the Ramatar administration. Who is Sue? Well, I tell you who is Sue. Look what else we found out about Sue. His company name, which he got his lumber concessions, is called Rongan Inc. He's into quarrying under the company name Southern Canton International Trading. He's into fuel, as we said. And he's into construction. Sue! Oh, Sue! This same Sue! This same Sue! This is the man at the center of it. What the folks call the middleman. This fella here. Sue! And since that documentary came out last evening, folks, oh, there have been such comments. There have been such comments. Look at sneak peek of that documentary. We told you guys for copyright purposes we could only show a very short portion. But in this portion, look here, boy, with his open door policy, anybody could come and see me at my office, at home, or the one provided for the state. Look here, boy, larger than charge, showtime.
We get all this. Sue deals with all the agreements. I don't.
I understand.
The thing is that my thing is that I'm in government.
I understand.
So I assist from government side.
I know.
That's it.
Sue interjected, telling us this wasn't the place to talk about the bribe.
因為佢由頭都係啦，即係我要知道，即係啲錢係入咗佢嗰度先得㗎。如果唔係，
Who's sharing the live, folks? We mean business tonight? We laymen? Are we going to share the damn live stream so others get valid, credible information? Sugate has hit the world stage. Sugate, Jagdio's Chinese connection. And today, since that hit the airwaves last evening, this was Kaicho News editorial today. Kaicho News says, again, it is the way that business is done under the PPP. Who can agree? Give this stream a share. It is the way business is done under the PPP government in Guyana. On his own behalf, Vice President Jagdeo, the leader that the Chinese identify as the go-to man, is recorded on tape as saying that he knows Mr. Sue. Sue is my friend. He gets all the support. Not some, not a little bit. All the support. That's code. Sue is my friend. He gets all the support. There are two ways to interpret this. This is according to Kaicho News. There are two ways to interpret this. Right? Those two most important words uttered by Guyana's Vice President in his exchange with his strange new visitor. They are friend and support. This is Kaichor who shared it live. As in my friend, and he gets all the support. Twist interpreted. In the first interpretation is routine and the essence of innocence itself. Friend could mean just that, only that and nothing more. Everything stops right there. This is Kaichor News. The same goes for support, which is usually employed in run-of-the-mill things of daily life. However, and this is the key, however, and this is the key, and this is the danger, when friend and support function as carefully and deliberately chosen code words, Kaichor News says, then they take on a whole new life by themselves, with a world of new meaning accompanying. It could be a signal that this man is one of us. Open the door, let's who come in. Always one family. Because he is spoken for, therefore he is good for whatever he comes for. Be it a contract, land, stone, or mineral resources. Folks, we are making this up. That is Kaichor News editorial just today. Who's sharing the life, folks? That others get valid, credible information. Shadow Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Shadow Attorney General, spoke out himself. Roysdale Ford says, Senior Counsel, while the government is attempting to foil the reporter in her attempt to find linkages between the Vice President and Mr. Sue's questionable dealings and arrangement, the fact that the Vice President acknowledged his relationship with Mr. Sue, demonstrated by his warm welcome of the Chinese businessman and the journalist posing as his secretary, and his conversation with them, speak volumes. That the open door policy is open the door, let the man come in. All we is one family. Open the door, let Sue come in. Roysdale went on. Furthermore, the fact that Mr. Sue can actually say the things he said about the Vice President Bar Jagdeo is not only extremely worrying to every law-abiding citizen, but has the enormous potential to negatively affect the national image and reputation of Guyana. He concludes by saying this situation cannot be decoupled from recent international assessments about the rise of corruption in all sectors of the country since the PPPC's return to government. That was the Shadow Attorney General. And while the storm was breaking, Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs, Amanzo Wharton Desir, had her say as well, this is what Amanzo said, the tendency of the Ali regime towards autocracy and the way from autonomously functioning institutions are a clear and present danger to some development. The Member of Parliament went on to say the recent Vice News special, Guyana for Sale, demonstrates this danger and in the starkest possible terms. She ends by saying the video recorded utterance of Bar Jagdeo that Sue is my friend, he gets all the support, Sue deals with all the agreements, and further, that my thing is that I'm in government, so I assist from the government side. Amanda says that ought to concern every Guyanese. That's why we ask, like, you're linemen, or we sharing your live? The lines will change. Fitzpatrick, in a press statement, said it is now evident that the opportunities for investment in Guyana for the orderly extraction of the country's national resources are being restricted to a select and chosen few. Select and chosen few in a highly corrupt practice, Delny Cadogan, Barbara Raffles Nassau, and Bethany Mark McBean. Showtime's damning report shows that Guyanese, regional and other international investors were excluded based on the unscrutinized decisions of high-ranking government officials. Who's sharing the line, folks? And Alliance for Change says it has been rumored for some time that the government was not adhering to industry practices in awarding contracts and uses influence to exclude certified Guyanese companies. The Showtime investigation is therefore a welcome revelation which must be used to address these concerns. Folks, they get catch with their hands in the cookie jar. Somebody hashtag Jagdeo lies for winner, man. Somebody hashtag that for us. Jagdeo lies. Hashtag that for us. Jagdeo lies. That is what they have said. And not to be undone, folks, before our guest comes. The chairman of a very important committee in this country, the Public Accounts Committee, that scrutinizes and is currently scrutinizing government spending. Here's what he said. For his part, he says, in the light of the recent revelations from an independent award-winning journalist of Vice News, in which damning allegations of corruption and bribery are leveled against a former president of this country and now serving second vice president, Mr. Bar Jagdeo, there is need for more than ever for the president of Guyana to swear in the members of the Public Procurement Commission. This will go a far way in minimizing corruption. The president has a glorious opportunity to manifest his commitment to transparency, accountability, and the rule of law by immediately establishing a reputable group of investigators to investigate the allegations raised in the Vice News report. To this end, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee says assistance could be requested from the international community. This will go a far way in portraying Guyana as a country that is serious about its wealth benefiting our people and not squandered by greedy government leaders and corrupt businessmen. Veteran journalist Nazima Ragube took to social media today, and her words are so searching. Her words are so indictable of this corrupt regime. This is what she said on Twitter today. Veteran journalist Nazima Ragube. She says, look how normal it is for a sitting official, a constitutional office holder, to do a potential investment meeting in his home when foreign investment is not even covered in his portfolio. Yeah. You read it again, it's so short and sweet. Look how normal it is for a sitting official, a constitutional office holder, to do a potential investment meeting in his home when foreign investment is not even part of his portfolio. And you don't know what is going on there, Clyde Jackson, Noldo Grant. You know we big, but we ain't stupid. Deborah Clark, we big. We there, Alicia Motilal. We big, but we got sense. Papa Jagabat, we got sense. We ain't just big. But then Jagdeo had some words too. And these words were conveyed by Demerara Waves, which does some good reporting every now and again. And this is what Jagdeo would have us believe. This is what Papa Jagabat would have you believe. Kamal Prasad, Kurt Hyder Khan, who's sharing the life tonight. And Bethany, you got the courage to share credible and valid information. Mark McBean, Colin Solomon, Cheryl Mulrain. Here what Jagdeo would have us believe, because he think we big and stupid. You think we Bagley and Dortish? Beryl Felix, Jennifer Johnson. You think we beg and we gone through? As the Trinis would say, here's what he would have us believe. He says, Sue seems to have said to him that he will collect the money. This is to the investor. Sue seemed to have said to him that he will collect the money. And so this is precisely what I was saying all along. That I don't know what Sue and others, you hear that? They might got other middlemen folks. You don't know what Sue and others have been telling the reporters or investors who come to this country. You know what Sue and others might be telling investors who come into this country. They do not have to pay a single cent to any government official to facilitate their investment. We beg, Papa Jagabat, but we got sense. He says our job, this is Jack Neo, our job is to do that on our own. And so if they are ripping off these investors and collecting their money as a service fee or whatever else, a processing fee, that's what else, they are keeping all to themselves. Folks, we outside, we beg. Right? COVID may have knocked us down, but they knocked me out. We still above ground. We beg and we get sense. That's what the fellow wants us to believe. We beg and we got sense. That's what we would have him know. And so when we see imagery like this, we know what it means. From Guyana for sale, we know what it means.
Get all this. Sue deals with all the agreements. I don't.
I understand.
The thing is that my thing is that I am in government.
I understand.
So I assist from government side.
I know.
That's it.
Sue interjected, telling us this wasn't the place to talk about the bribe.
因為佢由頭都係啦，即係我要知道，即係啲錢係入咗佢嗰度先得㗎。如果唔係，
Sue got his SOPs. So Catfish don't have to ask you, where were you, Sue? During that protracted period when our elections were unresolved. Catfish don't have to ask you, but Sue got his SOPs. Even though they might differ in nature and quality, nonetheless, he has his SOPs. His standard operation procedure. Sue, no, you don't talk about bribe here. You talk about processing fee and consulting fee. You don't talk about bribe. When the door open, you got through, you walk through, money got to make people. In the cooperative oil producing republic, money got to make. But Papa Jagaban got to know, we beg, but we ain't stupid. So when he talks about, our job is to do that on our own, and so they are ripping off these investors and collecting money as a service fee or whatever else. He certainly don't know. But we know. We know, folks, and we can talk with things. When we get them, man. The U.S. Embassy today, folks, hold on, we there. The U.S. Embassy put out a statement. And when you read this statement, Junior Gibbs, Michelle McKay, Andrew Griffith, Lexi Boss, and Heaven Petal Wilson, Cherry Williams, Aldwin Lake. When you read this, you got to remember what Forrest Burnham said. And, I know a young man who knows this quote better than I do. Right? It is a mark, I might get it wrong, of a first-rate intelligence, not just to read what is on the line, but you have to read what is between the lines. This is the American Embassy today, according to News Source. The U.S. Embassy says the U.S. has long been an advocate for anti-corruption and rule of law in Guyana. Now, stick a pin. Let come back. When When the US watch a video and start talking about anti-corruption, we have long been advocates for anti-corruption. You know your problems. So you don't have to believe them boys on the other side of the aisle in the National Assembly. When the US Embassy watch a mini documentary and then they produce a statement that says we have been advocates for anti-corruption and rule of law in Guyana, you know you're in trouble. But let us finish this statement so I can bring my guest. He said, as well as a free press, because interestingly enough, yesterday, a lot of people weren't able to access lots of things on social media and so on. So the American Embassy says there's a free press too. So those folks that carry police by Sabbath News, watch yourself. Right? And the statement from the US Embassy added that, consistent with Guyana's laws, accountability is the soundest approach to maintain confidence in government and a level playing field for all investors. Oh, ouch. Ouch! Folks, I'm privileged to have with me tonight. Very, very privileged to have with me this evening, folks. The parliamentary chief whip, the parliamentary opposition chief whip, the one and only member of parliament, Christopher Jones. Chris, rock and come in. Rock, come in. Rolling, flicking, jumping. Chris, what happened to be country boy? Getting for you believe it?
We gone back to the days from whence we came.
Them boys come back?
Yeah, them boys come back.
Chris, what are your thoughts having viewed this? You know, what are your thoughts? Will you country there, boy?
But you know, Sharon, more interesting to me is the pronouncement by Irfan Ali sometime today in an article which was carried by Newsroom. And it's just, well, it's not strange that it's just Newsroom apparently he did this interview with. But essentially, Irfan Ali is calling for the full interview to be aired because in his interpretation, the incorrect narrative by the reporter would be exposed. In short, Irfan Ali has already concluded that Bharat Jagdeo is not corrupt and Vice News has an agenda. And that in itself rubbishes any call from civil society, political parties, and so forth, for Irfan Ali to launch an independent investigation. Because Irfan Ali has already pronounced on an outcome. And as far as he and the PPP is concerned, there is no allegation that could sit as it relates to Bharat Jagdeo. Now, this is, again, is typical People's Progressive Party civic. That's what they do when one of their comrades is embroiled in some controversy or corrupt practice. They circle the wagon. Case in point, we recall what happened in the National Assembly with the case involving Kwame Mackay and the alleged assault on Member of Parliament Tabitha Sarabo Hali. All of the PPP members of Parliament, including the women folk within the PPP, circled the wagon and they defended Kwame. Then all of us heard live and real time the pronouncement by local government minister Nigel Darmalal using the term on a female member of parliament that she wants a dildo. And to date, he has not been sanctioned. And all of the PPP members circled the wagon in defense of Nigel Darmalal. In the case of Frank Anthony, with the COVID vaccines that came from questionable sources and so forth, and the public outcry, we saw the PPP again circle the wagon and they stood in defense of their comrade. And here it is again now. Essentially, Bharat Jagdeo is what you would call the cherry on top, right? The cherry on top is now embroiled in this. But as I mentioned earlier on the program today, is that this is nothing new as it relates to Bharat Jagdeo. And I remind your viewers earlier today, and I remind these viewers tonight, that you go back in time under the 23 years of the People's Progressive Party Civic in office, particularly during the Bharat Jagdeo's administration. And you go to the US State Department report on Guyana as it relates to corruption. And in those reports, it speaks about corrupt practices going to a very high level of the Guyana government. You go back to the US State Department report, it will speak about the narcotics trade, in which Guyana was named a transshipment point in which cocaine left the shores of Guyana only to be intercepted in foreign territories. The US State Department report spoke about the connection with senior government officials with questionable characters, such persons as Roger Shahid Khan and others, and the list goes on. This was the period when you had the Phantom Death Squad in operation in Guyana, in which Bharat Jagdeo at that time was president. And he had a sitting minister of the government, Ronald Gadraj, and you had the pronouncement by George Bacchus on tape. And that was another documentary that was done by the BBC. And that documentary was titled Guyana, Trouble in Paradise. And they made they followed Bharat Jagdeo as president, and they outlined a slew of allegations from business community, from the US State Department report, everything, and it points right back to Bharat Jagdeo. So here it is again, with him now being caught in real time on video and audio in this new documentary that is done by Vice News, which is a US registered company. And they have him on tape saying this. So Bharat is not a stranger to these. But in this case, it's not just an allegation. It's that you have him there on tape sitting in his home, right? Conducting these transactions. Sue is no government official.
I was about to ask that. Who's Sue?
Official. Sue represents nothing of interest, no interest of Guyana in terms of the administration. What is Sue doing? With
yet Sue has all our support.
Exactly. You know, so the PPP, as they're doing now, is circling the wagon, and they are protecting their comrade. And
but it seems to me, an elevation of Sue, because when we showed that excerpt from that first interview that the vice president publishing at the head of this store, he said that Sue, who's Sue? Sue is a tenant. You know, we knew his father a couple of years ago, but Sue is a tenant. But now Sue is in his home transacting big business. And he says Sue has all of our support, a tenant.
Exactly. And we are not aware of how many other transactions Sue would have done before. Because listen, it is not a case, and you know, when we speak here, we speak to every single Guyanese, irrespective of your political persuasion. You could be a PPP member, that is fine, that is okay. But when it comes to corruption and
zero tolerance.
Exactly. You have to call it for what it is. You have to call it for what it is. Vice News didn't just one day decide that, listen, let's hop on a plane and fly down to little old Guyana and we could plant this person to go. It was based on evidence and information that has been reaching their ears for a number of months, if not years. And before they reach to the state in which they will plant somebody to go undercover, is that the information that they would have received is substantive enough that they can go to that route. And that's why they went that route. What we should do as Guyanese, as citizens, is accept the fact that Vice News was able to do what many of us local reporters, politicians, and so forth was unable to do over the number of years. As I said, is that Vice News documentary is essentially like a Victoria's Secret, a secret in which every single Guyanese is aware. You go across the length and breadth of this country, every Guyanese know, in order for you to get land, in order for you to get big boom business or whatever, you have to know somebody in the government. And once you can whisper to them and pass sufficient monies and bribe them, you can get what you want. It is a Victoria's Secret that everybody knows. But in this case, the Vice News documentary was able to capture video and audio at the highest level, no other than the vice president himself. The honorable thing that is expected for him to do, especially in this new oil producing country that we now are, is that essentially investors will come from all walks of life, from all parts of the world to do investment here. But when they view documentaries like Vice News, when they read allegations and story, it makes them timid as to whether or not Guyana is a place in which they should invest. It should invest. And this is again, this is not the first time that you've had company that spoke about government official wanting them to pass a bribe in order for them to get a lease a portion of land and so forth. I do hope that many of those who would have suffered in the past by PPP government official, that they see that documentary and they're bold enough now to come forward to say that I was one who was asked to pay a bribe or fund this person in order for me to get, and because I refused to do so, I was not acquired. That happens across this country.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Chris, we often say that Irvin has a golden opportunity to be a good installed president, but he has to take the reins of state and deal with issues like these very frontally and not ask to see the whole interview before he can make up his mind whether something shady. The smallest child could pick out what is happening there.
That's correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
Could understand the code that's going on there. You want to see the entire interview. Maybe that's what you get from somebody from Iceford University.
But I'm also, I mean, listen, the other part of the story, and this is where we, as a nation, we will get confirmation if we still need confirmation. We always said that Irfaan Ali is essentially a quote unquote, using the alleged term that is used, a puppet president. That essentially Bara Jagdeo is his master. Now, could you imagine the puppet now going and tell the master that you must resign, or I'm removing you from office so I can do an investigation? It would never happen. So essentially, Irfaan Ali has to be careful now, because he's going to essentially walk himself right into the corner of which every Guyanese know that he's not the real president. He running nothing.
Yep.
He just has,
Yep.
he's
Yep.
just the showpiece, the front
Yep.
man. But the very individual who these alleged allegation is before, which is the vice president, is
Correct.
the person who's actually running the show in this country.
Correct, correct. Chris, do you think we are going to get a resignation? I mean, we already see the posture of Irfaan Ali out of the vice president. They don't understand how damning this is, how much this sets us back on the international stage. Me and Martin waking up to see this. Joe Biden waking up to see this, because Showtime is an American company. Vice News is an American company. World leaders around the world are watching this. You know, this has set us back tremendously.
No. You see, for the PPP, there's no such thing as setback, you know. There's no such thing as a setback for them. They are going to ride this storm out. Listen, again, back during the period of Bara Jagdeo's president, where you had the Phantom Death Squad in operation in this country, you had the self-confessed Phantom Death Squad member George Bacchus, who's now dead, is on recording by the BBC, in which he said that the evening in which the Phantom came to his home and shot and killed his brother, he was able to pick up the phone and call the then minister of Bara Jagdeo's government, Ronald Gadraj, and he said, "Boss, XY person just killed my brother." And he said, "Whoa, okay," and so forth. So all of that is on tape. And when one believed that, oh my God, this is going to topple this administration because the evidence is before you, Bara Jagdeo announced what civil society, the international community, and the political parties were calling for, an independent investigation. But of course, we called for, at that time, an international independent investigation. Bara Jagdeo gave us an inquiry of which he identified the individuals who will do that inquiry. The then leader of the opposition, Robert Corbyn, and many other political leaders at the time who were part of the JOPP, the Joint Opposition Political Party, said then that they have no confidence in the persons who have been comprised to do that inquest. Lo and behold, a few weeks later, the inquest report comes out and it says that it has no evidence to connect Ronald Gadraj to any Phantom Death Squad in operation in the country, when a self-confessed Phantom Death Squad member, George Bacchus himself, on tape, recorded by the BBC, not Prime News Evening News, the BBC, and they confirmed the happenings in this country at that time.
Yeah, and I think we gotta change what you're saying. In effect, is when the people said we had enough of this nonsense in 2015. Thank God we don't have to wait 23 years, because these guys have come in 2 short years, Chris. My God, who would have thought?
Yeah, and you know what too is sad happening, as you mentioned before, and every right-thinking Guyanese will think so, in terms of where we will now go or the direction that we will now head in as a country. There was a period under the PPP again, where the average Guyanese to any destination that you travel, could it be Canada, the United States, England, or any part of the Caribbean, and people hear that you are from Guyana. Oh, you from Guyana, that corrupt country, and so forth. Save and except under the period of the APNU AFC government, Guyanese were able to walk with their heads held high when they enter any of those jurisdictions, as I mentioned, because people then started to have respect for us as citizens coming from a country in which transparency, accountability, good governance existed. But now we're back under the PPP, and we have seen the reemergence of this from the very jump street. Sherrod, right here on this program, we spoke to the fact that you had the interception of 1.5 ton or I can't remember the total tonnage of cocaine.
Correct.
Was intercepted.
Correct.
In a few weeks when the PPP got into office, and we said,
Belgium,
as we will say now again, is that under the People's Progressive Party Civic, drug barons and persons associated with corrupt practices feel a sense of comfort under the PPP's administration. And that is where you will have all of the bribes, the corruption, the drug smuggling, the drugs exporting, you name it, it will happen now. People even talk about the fact that the Guyana Police Force under the APNU AFC administration operated a type of way, professional operation. And you see since the PPP's return to office that many of those rules that governs the police force and so forth have already been eroded. It is happening, and that is symptomatic with the People's Progressive Party Civic in office. You go back to the history of this country, way back during the period when Dr. Cheddi Jagan was president, and you read the history, and it will give you a good sighting of what happens once the People's Progressive Party Civic is in office. Corruption is rampant. Drug baron and people engaged and associated with corrupt practices feel a sense of comfort, and that is where all the operations start back again.
Indeed. Chris, as we said, you know, the international stage, the international countries, they're watching this stuff on Showtime, seeing the kind of leaders that we got, quote unquote leaders that we have in this country. On International Anti-Corruption Day, the very US Embassy talked about and was pushing this government to introduce initiatives that focuses on anti-corruption, because they had a sense since then, a few months ago, that they weren't heading in that direction. Believe it or not, they could not point to anything that was done previously on the PPP or since they came to power in terms of anti-corruption initiative. They pointed to things under the Granger administration. Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
That's right.
And again today we saw the US Embassy. Not a strange coincidence that the morning after the night before of this mini documentary by Showtime, Guyana for Sale, in which it featured as a leading role Vice President Jack Lew. You have the American Embassy again talking about anti-corruption, talking about a level playing field for investors, you know, talking about the rule of law being respected in this country.
That's correct. That's correct. Listen, you back in the time when I spoke about the U.S. State Department and their numerous reports on Guyana as it relates to drugs and Guyana being a transship. Guyana was named under the People's Progressive Party Civic. Guyana was named a transshipment point for narcotics. And it was then the calls that were being made that we should set up a DEA office in Guyana, which will help our local enforcement able to do a job in which they will be able to capture those persons in Guyana that is part of the illicit trade. Mind you, during that period, not a single person was ever arrested in Guyana for shipping cocaine out of this country. It was only it was intercepted only when it reached those foreign territories. It was only under the APNU AFC government that the DEA office, almost within months of the APNU AFC office, government coming into office, that the DEA was allowed to set up shop here in Guyana, and that in itself worked as a deterrent for many of the illicit trade and those persons involved in the illicit trade who were using Guyana as a transshipment point. Now, I don't even know to what extent now that they are allowed to operate or how they are allowed to operate and function in the country. But case in point, a few weeks, literally a few weeks after the PPP got back into office, you had cocaine, tons of cocaine, and in the jurisdiction in which it was intercepted, it was the largest in the country's history. And it came from Georgetown, Guyana.
Yeah.
It says to you, as I said before and again, and this is why it is so strange when you see the ABCEU countries are so cozy with the PPP. You question as to what really is happening here. Because when you go back to those numerous reports, the U.S. State Department, etc., those reports list high officials of the PPP government that is involved in the illicit trade. The fact of the matter that there are known drug barons that operate in Guyana, and not a single person have been ever brought before the courts or brought before the police to answer questions and so forth. And you ask yourself, how is it that you've had a government in place which allowed the DEA to operate, which worked as a deterrent for narcotics and illicit trade and corruption? When you look at the corruption index report on Guyana during the period of the APNU AFC government, is that Guyana was soaring. Guyana was no place, even in Barbados and these countries where you had the Guyana bench, where when you turn up, oh, you're Guyanese, you must be shipping drugs, sit down there. That bench was removed. Now, with the fact of what is happening here in this country, we are going right back in that place. And you know when, and I'm speaking directly to many of the PPP supporters here, because you like to turn a blind eye and believe that it is fine and hunky-dory. But you know they got the saying, when your neighbor house on fire, throw water on yours. It is the day, God forbid, when you and your family are going on vacation and you're traveling to perhaps Canada, and then when you reach those shores, somebody says to you, you're coming from Guyana, y'all need to sit there. And when you ask the question why, because we know the country is involved in these things, and likely you could be one of those persons. When it affects you in that way, then you will see how important it is that when you have issues like these, that there must be a thorough investigation and brought the findings out, and the perpetrators or perpetuators who are involved in that are brought before the courts, and justice must be served. Bharat Jagdeo, at the end of the day, is a citizen like you and I. And therefore, the rules, the laws that govern this country, it works and operates for both Bharat Jagdeo, Christopher Jones, Sherrod Duncan, etc., etc., etc. Sheridan, I'm not hearing you.
Well said, Chris. Well said. Well said. Thanks for your time with us this evening. Thank you so much for stopping by, and again, lending clarity to this very vexing, a scandalous issue, Chris. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, Sheridan.
Folks, of course, the parliamentary opposition chief whip and member of parliament, Christopher Jones. Folks, Bharat Jagdeo should resign. Do the honorable thing, as Roy Silford says on our podcast today. In all democratic countries, a man caught in his slips like this, with his hands in the cookie jar, would do the honorable thing and resign. And spares the humiliation on the international stage of having someone like you be numbered as a leader in this country. Resign. That's our time, folks. And that's our program. Share the damn live stream. Smash the emoji button. Partner with us. We cannot do it without you folks. That's our program tonight, guys. Share the live. Smash that emoji button, folks. You all know we cannot do this program without you. We feel your love. We thank you guys for your support. We know you guys know we're billed via Zelle and PayPal, Cash App, and MMG. That's the local Cash App where we are broadcasting from the national capital city of Georgetown in Guyana. The MMG, that's the service here. And we are also available via Western Union, guys, and MoneyGram. You want to make a contribution to keep our program going? totally publicly funded by you folks. 627-6963, and we're going to tell you guys how. That's our WhatsApp number. It's our MMG number as well. 627-6963. Share the live, guys. Smash that emoji button. Lauren Dainty, Nicolo Fernandez, Glycis Mingo Burn, Alison Cortez. Good to see you, Odwin Lake, Yvonne Daly. Sandra Broderson is here as well. Ingrid King, good to see you. Nikki White-Wild. I see Sharma E. Grant Melvin. Oh, that's one person, you know. Joylyn Cook. Good to see you. Isabella Butters. Anne-Marie Roberts. Good to see you. Beautiful, lovely, good-natured people. Evangeline Reese. Good to have you here as well, guys. Smash that emoji button. Share the live. Smash that emoji button. Partner with us, guys. We can't do without you guys at all. We need you, folks. We need each and every one of you helping us along, folks. Pace and power. Boots on the ground. We need shoes. We need feet in those boots, folks, to be on the ground. Good to have you here, Chin Sing Henry, Leonard Anderson, Tracy Mullin. Good to have you guys. Yolanda Buck Semple and Claudette, is it Frosten? Good to see you. Winella Garnett. How are you doing? Pace and Power, Mark Doris and Claudette. Is it Franzen? Good to have you. Persis Wilson and also Yvonne Daly. Lily. Good to see you, Lee. Melinda Malari. Good to see you, Melinda. I see, is it Hasrati? Good to see you. And Spurley. Mortimer Timothy Reynolds and Sherilyn. You know, some of you got to come by more often so we get familiar with some of these names. Tanya Cummings, we know this one. Yellen Hopkinson, we know this one. Good to have you folks. Dion, Anna, Baby Sandyford, we know that one too. Pollyanna Shots, they're wrong. Folks, smash the emoji button, guys. Smash the emoji button. Share the damn live. Partner with us. That's our time. That's our program. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. We're out of here, folks. Shelly Douglas Williams, be good to see you. Angela McDonald, Yvonne Dilly, Narissa Boswain, good to see you, Narissa. Mark McBean, good to have you. Will McGrath, we see you. Valerie Archibald, Eva, good to see you. Pat Will as well. And all the other lovely folks, Minerva Richmond and Judy Williams. Have a great evening, Deborah Seeley. Have a great evening. That's the program, folks. That is we time. Right back here tomorrow night, FYI. We know about at 12, and then we're back in the ring tomorrow evening. Have a pleasant rest of the evening. We commend the programs that are following. If you guys are heading to work, heading home, heading out, be safe, guys. Be safe. Take care. Stay safe.